Okay, this question is a continuation of part 2, but it contains Z between two Z scores. Okay, I need you to really pay good attention to this solution because it will make sense if you understand it. So first have the Z table with you and watch parts 1 and 2 before watching this part. This will make you understand things better. So now we are given that Z is a standard normal random variable. Find Z0. So in this case, we are given here the probability, and we need to find the Z0. Notice that I have negative Z0 and positive Z0. This will make us able to solve this question easily. But pay attention with me right now. I will go to the next page that contains what we need to know. Before I go to the next page, just remember that what is this here? Probability that Z is between two Z scores. It's the same as the area between the two Z scores under the graph. So now we will go to the next page, and I have the graph of the standard normal distribution. Remember that the area under it is 1, the total area under it is 1, and if you are between negative Z0 and positive Z0, you want to find the area between them, then notice one thing first, and pay attention. The area below negative Z0 here, this is area to the left of negative Z0, and the area here to the right of positive Z0, just write that this is the same as the area to the right of Z0. Notice that they're equal because this is the same number Z0 but as negative, and the two areas in this case will be the same. So this and this are equal. This is very important to know so you can answer the question. Now, the question is asking you to find the area between them. So it means that you need to find this green area that I'm drawing right now, the one in between the two. And the total area is 1. The green and the two reds, the area is 1. So look at this. I will say, therefore, the area between negative Z0 and Z0 is equal to the total area. The total area is 1 under the curve minus the red areas. But because they're equal, I can say minus twice or 2 times the area below negative Z0. So in this case, okay, you can have it like this, or you can write it in an easier way. The area between negative Z0 and Z0, we can write it as the probability that Z is between negative Z0 and positive Z0 equals, now let us write the second part as probability. This will be 1 minus twice, 2 times the probability that Z is less than negative Z0. So I will highlight this in red because this is what we will use now. Okay, the probability that Z is between two Z scores that are the same, negative and positive, so negative Z0 and positive Z0, is 1 minus twice the probability that Z is less than the negative Z0. So let's go back, and here we would say that this this implies that 1 minus 2 times the probability that Z is less than negative Z0 is equal to, given, 0.8530. And notice that in this case you can solve for what then would be the probability that Z is less than negative Z0. You can take it to the other side and bring things to the opposite side and solve. So it will be 1 minus 0.8530 divided by 2. A simple algebra. And this will give you, if you do it on your calculator, 0.0735. Okay? Now, this now becomes a question very similar to the question in part 2 of the videos. This is part 3, so go back to part 2 if you want to watch how it's solved. But anyways, I'm going to solve it for you and show you the table now. So we need to look at the Z table and find this number in it. So if you go to the Z table, 0.0735, 0.0735, you will see that it's exactly where let me see, it is here. Look, I found it. It's here. So this is 0.0735. Where is it coming from? From this Z score. So I have negative 1.4 and here 0.5. So therefore you can say that my negative Z0 is minus 1.45. This is the Z score that I have. Notice that I wrote it negative Z0. It's because at the end I want to solve for the positive case. So here you can say in the question, therefore, from the table, using the Z table, we found that negative Z0 is minus 1.45. Immediately, this implies what is Z0? Z0 is positive in this case, so it will be 1.45. Of course, you will use the positive one because they're asking you, look at the question again at the beginning, they're asking you to find Z0, not the negative of Z0. So that's why when we found the answer, we took its negative to get the answer that is required from us. So that's for part A. Let's go to part B, and the same thing you will do here. We saw, remember this formula here? This formula that the probability that Z is between negative Z0 and positive Z0 is 1 minus twice the probability that Z is less than negative Z0. So you would say this implies that 1 minus twice the probability that Z is less than Z0 is equal to, in this case it's given 0.99. And so if you solve for the probability of Z less than Z0 using simple algebra, take things to the other side and divide, and so you will get 1 minus 0.99 divided by 2, and this will give you 0.0050. So if you want to, you add the 0 at the end, it's okay, because you want to look at the Z table to find it. And sorry, there was a negative here, a negative, yeah. So we will now look at the Z table and find 0.005, and I want you to pay careful attention to what will happen now. We are looking for this number in the table. Try to find it and pause the video and see if you can spot it in the Z table, and then play the video after you find it. Okay, so I will go to the Z table and show you where to find it. Remember, it was 0.005. This is what we need to find in the table. If you look at the table carefully, you will see that we don't have the exact number. This is, okay, remember there is a 0 after this. You can think of it like this, 0.0050. But you see here that I have 0.0051 and 0.0049. You know that this number is exactly in the middle between them. So it's here. So this is why when you go to check where this is coming from, you will go this way. You will have negative 2.5. And if you go up from the first number, you get 0.07, and the second number, you will get 0.08. but our number is in the middle of them. So what we will do is we will average the two Z scores. So it is, you can say this is between negative 2.57 and negative 2.58. Now, so you average them. This is like 70 and this is like 80, okay? And then you can say, which means that my Z score, in this case I'm writing negative because the question, the answer to the question will be in negative, but in general, if the question is just to find the Z score, you don't need to put negative in front of it. But for this type of question, where you need the probability that it's between the negative of Z0 to the positive of Z0, this is the only place where you will be using negative Z0. So this means that negative Z0 is the average of the two. So negative 2.57 plus negative 2.58 divided by 2. You can even do it without a calculator. This will be negative 2.575. It's the middle of the two. That is our negative Z0. So I will go back and write this here. So therefore, you can say, using the Z table, we found, it took us a while, but we found that negative Z0 equals negative 2.575, and this immediately implies that Z0, the positive value that we're looking for, is 2.575. So this will be the answer to part B. And I will stop the video here.